Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of the world entirely on your own shoulders? Like no one truly sees your struggles or hears those silent cries for help, and that support you so desperately need just isn't showing up? If you've ever felt this way, and I know so many of you have, I want you to know something important. You are not alone. So many people have walked this exact road, battling silently, finding strength in places they never imagined possible. But here's what I need you to understand today, and this is crucial. Your strength is far greater than you realize. The power to rise, to thrive, to completely reclaim your life is already within you right now. Today we're going to talk about how you can tap into that power, especially when it feels like no one is standing in your corner. Let's start with something that might be difficult to hear. People often wait for someone to come along and rescue them. They're waiting for that hand to reach out, for someone to finally recognize their suffering and say those words we all desperately want to hear. I see you. I understand. I'm here to help you. But what happens when no one does? When the support you expected never arrives? When the people you thought would stand by you are nowhere to be found? This is one of life's hardest truths, and I've seen it break people. You cannot rely on others to save you. That realization is both terrifying and incredibly liberating, because if no one is coming to save you, it means you must save yourself. And that, right there, is where true strength begins. You have to stop waiting for the world to see your struggle and validate your pain. Here's a truth bomb for you. The world isn't structured to guarantee fairness or ensure that deserving people get uplifted. Life can be brutally indifferent. It doesn't care how much you've suffered or how exhausted you are. I'm not saying this to depress you. I'm saying this because understanding this reality is the first step toward taking your power back. The only way forward, and I've seen this transform countless lives, is to take complete responsibility for your own life. To recognize that no one is coming, and that's actually okay, because you are more than capable of standing on your own. I know this isn't easy to accept. It feels unjust. It feels cruel. It feels like you're being asked to carry a burden that's far too heavy. But here's the reality I need you to embrace. Strength is not given. It is earned. It's cultivated through suffering, through discipline, through the relentless act of standing up over and over again, especially when you don't think you can. The worst thing you can do, and I see this mistake all the time, is to sit in your suffering, waiting for someone else to come along and make everything right. Because no one can truly fix your life except for you. The first step in building that strength is shifting your mindset. You need to stop seeing yourself as a victim of your circumstances. Yes, terrible things have happened. Yes, you've been abandoned, betrayed, mistreated, overlooked. And it's important to acknowledge that pain, to let yourself feel the injustice of it all. But you cannot live there. You cannot build a future while dwelling in the ruins of your past. The only way forward is to take control of what you can change. Your actions, your thoughts, your decisions. Every single morning, you have to remind yourself, I am responsible for my own life. No one else, not my family, not my friends, not my partner, just me. And this isn't a burden. This is an opportunity. Because when you truly take responsibility for your own life, you take back your power. You stop waiting for permission to heal. You stop expecting others to provide the love and validation you should be giving yourself. Now, this isn't about ignoring your need for support. Of course, human beings are wired for connection. Of course, having a strong support system makes life easier. But here's another truth I've learned from working with thousands of people. Sometimes you don't get that support. Sometimes the people around you are too wrapped up in their own struggles to notice yours. Sometimes the people you thought you could rely on turn out to be unreliable. And sometimes, listen closely, the only support you can count on is the kind you build for yourself. So how do you do that? How do you become your own support system when you feel broken, exhausted, and completely alone? The answer is, you start small. You start by making one promise to yourself and then keeping it. Maybe that promise is as simple as getting up every morning and making your bed. Maybe it's drinking enough water, eating properly, or setting a bedtime and sticking to it. These things may seem trivial, but they're not. They are acts of self-respect. They are declarations to yourself that you matter. And as you keep these promises, something magical happens. You build trust in yourself. You start to see that you are capable of following through, that you don't need someone else to take care of you, because you can take care of yourself. That is how strength is built, not in grand heroic moments, but in the daily act of showing up for yourself over and over again. There will be days when you feel weak, when you don't want to get up, when the weight of everything feels unbearable. And those are the moments that define you, because when you choose to keep going despite that feeling, you are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances, that your past does not define your future, that you are not at the mercy of other people's actions or inaction. And here's the beautiful thing that I've witnessed countless times. When you learn to support yourself, you stop being so desperate for validation from others. You stop seeking approval, begging for scraps of attention, hoping someone will finally acknowledge your worth, because you will already know your worth. When you carry yourself with that kind of certainty, people notice. They're drawn to your strength, your confidence, your self-sufficiency. Ironically, the moment you stop waiting for support is often the moment you start receiving it, because strong people attract others who respect them. But even if that doesn't happen, even if no one ever steps up to offer you the support you wish you had, you will be okay, because you will have built something far more valuable than fleeting help from others. You will have built an unshakable foundation within yourself. You will have proven beyond a doubt that no matter what life throws at you, you will rise. You will keep going. You will be unstoppable. Life is suffering. There is no escaping that reality. No one makes it through this existence without being broken in some way, without facing loss, disappointment, betrayal, failure. And yet, there are those who crumble under the weight of it, and there are those who rise. The difference is not that one group never falls, never experiences hardship, never reaches a point where they wonder if they can go on. The difference is that the ones who rise have decided that no matter how many times they fall, they will get back up. That decision, that internal commitment, is what separates those who are defeated by life from those who overcome it. Pain is inevitable, but suffering is something else entirely. Suffering is what happens when you let the pain define you, when you become so consumed by what has happened to you that you can no longer see a way forward. And that's easy to do when you've been knocked down repeatedly, when you've given everything you had and still lost, when it feels like no matter what you do, life just keeps handing you reasons to give up. It's tempting to believe that there's no point in trying anymore, that maybe this is just how things are, and there's nothing you can do about it. But that belief is a lie. It is one of the most dangerous lies you can ever accept, because the moment you believe it, you surrender your agency. You give up your ability to fight back. People assume that strength means never falling apart, that strong people are the ones who never doubt themselves, never feel weak, never reach their breaking point. But that's nonsense. The strongest people you will ever meet are the ones who have been shattered over and over again and still choose to keep going. Strength isn't about pretending you're invincible. It's about deciding, in your darkest moments, that you are not going to let the darkness win. And that choice isn't something you make once. You have to make it every single day. You have to choose over and over to get out of bed when you don't want to keep moving when your legs feel like lead, to take another step forward when all you want to do is collapse. And I know that's exhausting. It's exhausting to fight, especially when you don't see results immediately, when the struggle feels endless, when every step forward feels like it's met with 2 steps back. But what is the alternative? To give up, to accept misery as your fate, to let life beat you down permanently. You might tell yourself that it's not your fault, that circumstances have made you this way, that you've been dealt a bad hand, that if only things had been different, you wouldn't be struggling so much. and that might be true. But it doesn't change the fact that you are the only one who can decide whether or not you stay down. No one is coming to pick you up. No one is going to live your life for you. If you want to rise, you have to do it yourself. And that is terrifying because it means there are no guarantees. It means that even if you fight with everything you have, you might still face setbacks. You might still lose things that matter to you. You might still feel the crushing weight of loneliness, of uncertainty, of exhaustion. But if you keep getting up, if you refuse to let life break you completely, then something extraordinary happens. You become resilient. You develop the kind of strength that cannot be taken away, that cannot be shaken by external forces. You start to realize that you are capable of enduring far more than you ever thought possible, that the pain you once believed would destroy you has actually made you stronger, more aware, more alive. Because when you've walked through fire and survived, you begin to understand just how powerful you truly are. You stop being so afraid of hardship because you've already proven that you can withstand it, and that knowledge changes everything. When you understand that falling is inevitable, but staying down is a choice, you stop fearing failure. You stop letting setbacks define you. You stop seeing challenges as insurmountable obstacles and start seeing them as opportunities to become even stronger. And that shift in mindset is one of the most powerful transformations you will ever experience. There's a dangerous lie that people, especially women, have been taught for generations, that their worth is measured by how much they can give, how much they can endure, how much they can sacrifice for others, that their value is tied to how well they accommodate, how easily they bend, how much they tolerate before they finally break. It's a lie that keeps people trapped in relationships that drain them, in friendships that take more than they give, in family dynamics that leave them feeling used and invisible. And it's a lie that must be shattered if you ever hope to live a life that is truly yours. The idea that setting boundaries is selfish is one of the most destructive beliefs a person can hold. It suggests that your needs, your limits, your well-being are secondary to the wants and demands of others. That if someone is hurt, offended, or inconvenienced by you standing up for yourself, you must be doing something wrong. But think about what that really means. It means that you are expected to prioritize everyone else above yourself, to put your own comfort, peace, and even safety on the line just to keep others happy. And that is not noble. That is not compassionate. That is self-destruction disguised as virtue. People who struggle with boundaries often carry an underlying fear. If I say no, if I demand respect, if I stop tolerating the things that hurt me, I will lose people. And that fear is valid because you will lose people. But here's the hard truth. Anyone who disappears when you start respecting yourself was never truly there for you to begin with. Anyone who only values you when you are convenient, who only stays when you are endlessly accommodating, who only loves you when you are bending to their will, does not love you. And once you see that clearly, you begin to realize that losing those people is not a tragedy. It's a necessary purge. It is the shedding of dead weight, the cutting away of relationships that have only ever taken from you without ever giving in return. And yes, it will hurt. It will hurt to watch people walk away. It will hurt to realize that some relationships only existed because you were willing to sacrifice yourself for them. But in that pain, there is also freedom. Because when you finally stop making yourself small to fit into spaces that were never meant to hold you, you create room for the relationships that are real. Boundaries are not walls. They are not meant to isolate you, to keep people out, to make you cold and unreachable. They are doors with locks that only you control. They allow you to decide who enters your space, who earns your time, who is worthy of your energy. They are the lines that separate what is acceptable from what is not, what is healthy from what is toxic, what serves you from what depletes you. And if someone is unwilling to respect those lines, they are telling you everything you need to know about how much they truly value you. People will test your boundaries. Some will push back, guilt trip you, manipulate you, try to convince you that you are being unreasonable, that you are asking for too much, that you are the problem. And you must be strong enough to stand firm in the face of that. Because every time you let someone cross a line that you know should not be crossed, you teach them that it's okay to do so. Every time you say yes when you want to say no, you reinforce the idea that your needs don't matter. And every time you tolerate disrespect, you send the message that you will accept it. Respect starts with you. If you do not respect your own limits, do not expect anyone else to. If you do not enforce your own boundaries, do not be surprised when people trample over them. People will only treat you as well as you require them to. And if you have spent a lifetime accepting less than you deserve, you must unlearn that habit, one decision at a time. The truth is, every time you get back up, you are rewriting your story. You are proving to yourself that you are not defined by your worst moments, that you are not broken beyond repair, that you are capable of rising no matter how many times you have fallen. That is what strength truly is, not the absence of struggle, but the relentless refusal to be defeated by it. So start small. If you're exhausted and someone asks for something you do not have the energy to give, say no. If someone speaks to you in a way that is demeaning or dismissive, call it out. If a relationship constantly leaves you feeling drained rather than fulfilled, step back. Pay attention to how people react when you begin to prioritize yourself. Some will respect it, some will adjust, and some will leave. Let them, because your peace is not something you should have to beg for. Your dignity is not something that should be up for debate. And the moment you realize that, the moment you stop tolerating what should never have been tolerated in the first place, you take back a power that was always meant to be yours. Your battle may be silent, but your strength doesn't have to be. Let this be the moment you decide to stand tall, even if no one stands with you, because you are enough, exactly as you are. Now I want to hear from you. What challenges have you faced in finding support? And how have you overcome them? Let's talk about it together, because your voice matters and I want to hear it. Remember, you are stronger than you think. You are braver than you believe. And you are never, ever alone in this journey.